Hello and welcome into 11am Sports. This video is a little bit something different than our usual Killy Boys we've been doing at the moment. I simulated 100 years into the future, 2120 we're on, and I thought, what's the football world going to look like at that stage, and how has Football Manager simulated it? What does the football world look like in 2120? And today we're going to have a look around the major leagues, see the World Cups, European Championship, things like that, and see exactly what the football world will look like in the next 100 years. Hopefully you enjoy the ride. Let's get into this. Yeah, so here we are. The database is opened up, and we're here in 2120. As I say, the 1st of July, so it's just ticked over to a new season, and you can see the teams who are in the English Premier Division. That's what I'm going to start with to see what the Premier Division looks like. Looking at the teams, you've got your normal kind of Arsenal's, Chelsea's, Everton, Liverpool, Leicester City, United, Tottenham. All the big teams are in there. And if we go and look at the history of the past winners, you can see there's a lot of Manchester City in it. Going all the way back to the season we're currently on, they suggest that Liverpool were going to win it. Maybe they would have in real life had there been no injuries. But they won 5 league titles in a row, then more Man City, Liverpool, United, a Tottenham victory in there somewhere, a Chelsea hiding in there as well alongside some Arsenal. The first one that's really none of the big six. Looks like it's a long way up here. West Ham in 2095-96 got some, but there's a Southampton sneaking in there. I've just missed it. 2084-85 is the first time one of the big six as we know it does not win the league. That's slightly worrying, isn't it, for the English Premier Division? I wonder if there's any more interesting teams, maybe finishing second or third in these years, but a lot of them appear to be our usual suspects. There's an Everton up here who sneak in to try and get a second place. They manage a third place, another second up there as well. So Everton jump up toward the top. A third place for Leeds. Southampton got their third just before they won it. Another Leeds up there as well. Leeds seem to be doing okay toward the top of the table. West Ham have had a good spell here. They finished some thirds and then won the league a couple of years. And more recently, as we scroll through to these years, Southampton have won it again. There has been an Everton win, a couple of Everton wins in fact, and a Swansea win, a Welsh team winning the English Premier Division. They also had a runner-up a couple of years ago, a Villa in there as well. But see, all in all, there's not been a huge change in the English Premier Division. And if we go back to last season to see what happened, you see the top of the table was very, very similar. City, Chelsea, Liverpool. Burnley were up in fourth, which is maybe slightly surprising. And Arsenal, Tottenham, Man United there in ninth, but they're still there. And there's not a huge amount of change in teams like that. Looking at teams who are here in the Championship as well, I'm not immediately noticing maybe a team that's come up from like the National League or something like that to get into here. A lot of these are kind of Prem, Championship, League One style teams. If we go into League One, Eastleigh have come all the way up. They're in Division 1 or League 1, I should say, sorry. That's a fairly unusual team to have up there. But there's not a huge number. Forest Green up now there, but they're in the League 2 just now. Harrogate are in that division as well. Maybe is League 2 get anyone interesting, more interesting than that? A lot of these teams are just teams that we kind of know around the Football League at the moment, maybe flirting around the Vanarama National League area, but there's not a huge change, to be honest, in the landscape. Maybe it's slightly surprising that Birmingham are down in 6th. Is that something that's surprising? Nottingham Forest is down in 6th. It's in alphabetical order. But Birmingham are down in this division. It's perhaps surprising, as is Nottingham Forest down in this division. Maybe that's surprising. Down in the National League, I can only see it. I've only got it as view only for those. That's not a huge number of big name sides. It's not like we've got a Manchester United all the way down here or something like that. So all in all, England has not changed a lot. What about if we go to the FA Cup? Well, if we scroll through the FA Cup, we've had a Southampton win down there, but it's a lot of the kind of big sides. West Brom have had one, Norwich got to a final at that point there, but there's a lot of the big teams. It's not like we've had a really surprising finalist, like maybe like a Solihull Moors or something like that. It's very, very boring, I'm afraid, for anyone who's thinking that English football landscape might change over the next few years. It doesn't look like it will. Swansea have won one around the same time they've started to win the league. I'll be honest, It's disappointing, isn't it, how boring this is? And there's not a huge change either. Look at all the same sort of teams. Swansea, I know, sneaking in there as well, winning the Carabao Cup. England, you have disappointed me. Let's move on to a different division and see how it looks. Now, here is a division I was not expecting to change much, and guess what? Certainly for the first 25 years, it didn't. PSG won every single league title in Ligue 1 until the 2020, oh goodness me, the 2043-44 season. And then even then they came second to Montpellier the couple of years that Montpellier won it. They were second all those years Montpellier won it. The first year they were not first or second was 56-57, but they were still third, so they're still in the top three. When did PSG drop out the top three in France? They're third here, they're second here, they win the league there, third, win the league, second. When does it happen? They're still third, they win the league, they're second. This is a new game. First, third, second, first. What's happening? When do they drop out? 2089-90 is the first year that PSG are not in the top three of Ligue 1. That's what you have to look forward to, French fans, I am afraid. So it's mainly PSG, some Montpellier, up until Brest get in and win and have get a win as well. And then you've got Sochaux as well that sneak in there. But mainly PSG and Montpellier. Looks like another a Lille and Angers. Look at that. There's a kind of mix of teams that win it here. You've got some other teams who I don't even know. QRM? I don't know who they are. They are now in League 2, having come third in the league there. It kind of changed about a little bit. Montpellier had a wee run again. A mix of different teams. And who is Moulins Foot? That's a team. I have no idea who they are, but they win it in 21-05-06. The answer for the next 100 years, mainly PSG with a little bit of Montpellier. And that's France. Let's go to Italy, where we have had a period of dominance from Juventus, and it continues for a little bit, though there's an Inter and Napoli that jump in, and then more Juventus, AC Milan, Inter, Juventus, Inter, oh goodness me, all the way up until 2070 before someone who's not AC Milan, Inter, Napoli, kind of usual suspects wins it. Torino get one in 2070-71. Crotone get a couple after that. Empoli and Bari. Spal have a few. Monza get get a win of Serie A there. Empoli, Parma back at the top of Italian football in 2088-89, but then Inter Milan and Juventus get a kind of run going again, and then it kind of rotates a few teams. It's starting to change a little bit now, but I tell you, it still feels very, very boring. And if you look at the teams who are in Serie A still, you still have Inter Milan, AC Milan, Juventus, Napoli. One team who's not here, who I'm very surprised by, is Roma. They are dropped a division. They are down into Serie B, which, you know, that's a big one. As are Torino, two fairly big sides in the Italian football landscape, down in Serie B. That's interesting in 100 years. We have now jumped over to Spain to have a look at La Liga. And Atletico Madrid won it in 2020-21, and in no surprise, it's them, Real Madrid and Barcelona, rotating the title between them for quite a while, till 2052, where Villarreal jump in for a little bit, and then they don't, as Barcelona have 5 years in a row. Espanyol sneak in there. Atletico Pamplona, which, I'll be honest, I don't know who they are, but they've managed to get one. We've got Alaves up there as well as Betis. Then Barca, oh my goodness me. From 2073-74 till 2095-96, Barcelona win every league title. That's like 22 years they win the league every year in a row. And it was only broken up by Mallorca for a year before they won another 6. And then Sevilla broke it up before it was another 6. Goodness me. So in that span of, 2073-74 until 2110, which is nearly 40 years, Barcelona win every league title except 2. Wow. That's unbelievable. And even then, they've only lost the title to Vigo, Cordoba and Vallecano over the last 10 years. So in the last 47 years or something, Barcelona have only not won the league 5 times. Wow. Interesting to say, Atletico Madrid are still in this division, but Real Madrid are not, as we drop down to the Spanish second division, which is still active. So that's why we're seeing the way that the teams are finishing. They're 6th in that league. They've scored 100 goals, but they have not got promoted. So Real Madrid here, alongside Sevilla, Villarreal, there's some big teams who have dropped down into the Spanish second division. I tell you, that's not something I was expecting to see. But something I definitely was expecting was Barcelona winning basically every league title for 50 years. That's crazy. Goodness me. Leave it down in the comments below if you ever thought that could be a thing. I certainly did not. I'll jump quickly to the Bundesliga as well. I'll go through the major European nations. As I said, Bayern win it a lot of years, as they have done in the past. Leverkusen, Hoffenheim in there as well. A lot of Hertha Berlin as well. They had a lot of second places here, and then they win the league a few times. Hertha become quite a big club, it looks like, around the 2030s and 2040s. Then Bayern have a nice spell where basically it's them and Leverkusen at the top of the table for a little while. Hertha jumping again. Essen get a couple of wins, it looks like, which is unexpected. A long spell from Bayern again, just broken up by Leverkusen. St. Pauli getting one as well. Essen getting one. Freiburg in recent years. 1860 Munich winning it instead of Bayern Munich. There you go, becoming the new Munich side there. Schalke have a big spell of dominance there. I must say I missed out Halle here, or Hallischer. There you go, for any supporters of that team in there. And then in recent years, it's been a bit of a mix. It appears Bayern kind of dropped out from the top echelon in this division. Mönchengladbach, Stuttgart, Osnabrück and Düsseldorf the last few years have won that. Looking at league table, Bayern are still in the top division. Is there any huge unusual names in it? Maybe SVS here, Sandhausen. I don't know. I'm not a huge advocate, or I don't have huge knowledge of German football. You've got Paderborn up, you've got Essen and Rostock, I think, are probably the two very surprising ones. And maybe this team here, I'm not going to try and say, I think I've heard of them before, though I don't know if they're right on the edge or not of getting promoted. One interesting thing here is Borussia Dortmund are not in the Bundesliga at the moment. They're not even down in the second Bundesliga, who have got teams like Hanover and Hertha Berlin, who have been so good at the early part or the mid part of the last decade. They are not there anymore. Can I drop down to the 3 Liga? Yes, I can. But where's Borussia Dortmund? Let me search for Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund have dropped down to the Regional Division West. And unfortunately, I had this running with not being active to manage, so I can't see when they dropped down. But yeah, Dortmund are in the... Goodness me, they're in the Regional West. When was the last time there you go, Bundesliga 2. They were in the Bundesliga 2 as recently as 2118. Yeah, and they've just dropped right down. They've kind of been bouncing about the Bundesliga 3 and the Bundesliga 2 playoffs for a few years, it looks like, as I scroll through their schedule. Yeah, they've dropped right off. Once previously a title challenger in Germany, no longer. And as a Scot, it would be wrong of me not to have a check to see what the Scottish Premiership looked like in 100 years. Over the last 100 years, Rangers and Celtic shared the title for a wee while. Motherwell stealing one there. Hearts stealing a few, actually, as we scroll up here. Hearts and Celtic becoming the dominant sides as you look at it from 2045-46 all the way up until 63-64. So for basically 20 years, they are the sides jumping between first and second. Hibs sneak in alongside Aberdeen and St Johnstone, and then they start to dominate Scottish football for a while. Clyde come in for a couple of years. You know, they've got some second places, third, win it a couple of years, drop down, then the third for quite a wee while over here. Hibs and Aberdeen become the dominant sides, and as you can see, all the way back to Clyde winning it in 2092-93. Since then, it's only been Hibs or Aberdeen who win the league. Some dominant spells for those two clubs there then. And looking at the league at the moment, Celtic are in the top division, but Rangers are not, as I'm sure most of you only know the two big Scottish clubs. Rangers are actually down in League 2, the fourth tier of Scottish football. They have totally fallen down the league. How long have they been in League 2? Quite a few years they've been in League 2, actually. They've bounced about League 2 and League 1 for a wee while. Yeah, a long time. We're going back 20 odd years now. We're still in League 1 and League 2. They've totally dropped off. But Celtic have not. And you know what? An interesting one for me, Kilmarnock. We've got the Kelly boys going on at the moment. But in 100 years, they're still in the Scottish Premiership. That's the important thing. Big teams that come up. Stranraer come up from quite a few divisions down. Queen's Park have come up as well. Clyde have come up quite a few divisions alongside Morton. Yeah, some big names have dropped down some divisions, as we said. But Kelty Hearts are doing some great things there. The Lowland League side are now up in the Championship in 100 years' time. Not a bad effort from them. Maybe we'll see how they do in the future. Just slightly interested to see, previous Champions League winners, Bayern, Inter, Liverpool, Barca, a lot of the usual suspects. As we scroll up this list, Hertha get one when they had some dominance in Germany, but then back to the usual suspects. Leverkusen had a few as well in there. Alongside Bayern, there's a lot of German dominance around that time. Everton snuck in one, beating Leipzig in one final. It goes up even further, and this is when Barcelona started to dominate in Spain, and they're kind of dominating Europe as well. They've had a lot of wins there alongside Bayern as well. Arsenal got one more Montpellier after they're doing so well in France as well. Freiburg doing not bad. Arsenal won 5 Champions League over the space of 7 years there. Arsenal fans can only wish for that, I imagine. Going up, probably the most surprising, without doubt. I mean, you've got a Southampton there. Yeah, I mean, it's surprising enough for me, you've got an Aberdeen. That's outstanding. They've won one of the more recent ones. In fact, they've won 2 of the more recent ones. But certainly this Moulon's user foot, I have no idea who they are. But they won a Champions League in 21-04-05. But yeah, as a Scot, looking at that, Aberdeen winning 2 Champions Leagues, 21-15-16 and 21-17-18. They won the 2 there against Montpellier and Barcelona. But Barcelona have been in so many finals. They clearly are one of the best teams in the world, obviously. Before we finish off this video, let's check some international stats. And the first thing that I noticed right at the top here is the winner of the 21-18 World Cup that was held in Brazil was Scotland. As a proud Scot, that is amazing. It's only going to take another 100 years for us to win a World Cup. I will make a note of that in my diary. Looking at previous winners, Holland, Italy, Germany, Spain, Brazil. Croatia is maybe the first unusual one, but I mean, they still got to the World Cup final in 2018. Spain, some dominance. Brazil again. All the usual suspects in there. Denmark and Serbia got to finals of World Cups. Scotland got a third place playoff back there. Wales, runner-up in a World Cup in 2066. That's fairly unusual. And Mexico getting to third place in 2070. I'm trying to see if there's any more really unusual ones. England winning a World Cup in 2098. I mean, that's fairly unusual. England winning a World Cup. And look at that. Ukraine are going to win one before England win another one. I hope so. Wales won a World Cup actually in 21-10. I completely missed that as well. I was too busy looking at Scotland winning one in 21-18. Yeah, Wales won one in 21-10. Unbelievable. Some home nations doing the business there, but no other really huge surprising ones. And as we've got the Euros happening in real life this year, let's have a look to see how people did in the Euros. In this game, Portugal are apparently going to win these Euros in 2021 as well. And after that, you've got England, Portugal, Italy, England. The usual suspects, it would appear. Wales sneak in there when Wales are fairly good winning World Cups as well. You've had several runners-up positions for Wales at the Euros, but it's mainly the usual suspects, including a nice period of dominance for Germany there during the 70s and 80s. So yeah, that is what the world will look like over the next 100 years of football, according to Football Manager. I thought it was quite interesting. Never done something like that before. Just let the game simulate and see what happens. I quite enjoyed looking at that. If you guys have enjoyed this video, it's a wee bit something different, then do leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel for more Football Manager content. We've got the Kelly Boys running Tuesday through Friday at the moment. And I think I'm going to simulate another 100 years, and next Monday have a wee look to see what the world will look like in 200 years, to see how much it changes after this first 100 years. It could be just as interesting. Could be even more boring. Could be another 50 years of Barcelona being dominant in La Liga again. Who knows? But as I say, do leave a like on this video if you enjoyed this little bit of something different. Comment down below what you think was the most surprising thing of these 100 years, and maybe make a prediction of what might happen in the next 100 years. And if you are looking forward to that video, then please, as I say, I think I've said it many times, leave a like on the video. It really does help me out. Subscribe if you haven't already, and until the next video, we'll see you then.